Hello and welcome. People have been asking me, are there endless endurance races for the Porsche Mission R? Check out the custom vinyl design on this one. Pretty cool. Got to use the skull vinyl from the Halloween package, so you can only do this once per year, but that's how I did this. Okay, so you're going to have to take off-track cuts. That's required. So you'll notice me, I'm going to turn right here. There is the left-hand cut. It's harder to take that on lap 1. The right-hand cut is more controlled and predictable in some ways. Sometimes it's harder with traffic. And then there's going to be one more cut at the next chicane. And then that's going to be really about it for cuts with this particular car, I would say. I don't think cutting the last chicane is beneficial in this car. I call it the last chicane. It's quite a ways from the end of the lap, but the last corner here is Parabolica, which is definitely not a chicane. So coming up here, we have an awesome 3-corner chicane. And 3 corners, let's see, go left, right, left, yeah, 3 corners. And you got to be careful because the bots like to brake at the exit of this chicane, which is just nonsense, but they do it. So you need to be prepared for that. They won't do it as much when we get to the higher bots. Now, this car feels like it has bad brakes. It doesn't have bad brakes, but electric cars are stinking heavy. And so that's why they've got it feels heavy. So you got to get on the brakes sooner than you think you should. It's got good high-speed grip. Low-speed grip, like most electric cars, is not good because they're stinking heavy. Now, I don't know if I really want to take the left-hand cut at all because it's so unpredictable to take the left-hand cut. In traffic, it can be better, but let's just stick with the right-hand cut for now. So my standards for endless endurance racing with $M races is higher than $R races, and that's because we can never hire the crew. I wish we could. I wish we had the option to hire at least the engineer and the agent so we could double the fame and also, not lose durability. But I guess they just never figured out a way to do it, or just, I don't know, didn't want to. I won't get into that. But regardless, this is what we have to deal with. So my standards are pretty high, especially when there's some really good Formula 1 options. For instance, I just did a video of the Formula 1 2023 cars. Silverstone Endless Endurance Race in the Invitational Series is still a great option. Fabulous fame earnings. By the way, this is in the exclusive series. That's where you're going to almost always find your good races are in exclusive series. That's because they pay more because you need to upgrade more to have access to them. So I'm fully upgraded, of course, have to be if you're going to be in this race. And yeah, we're only going to go to 50 kilometers. That will be enough to show whether this is possible or not and how possible it is. Ooh, pretty good there. You can see I'm doing really good taking that more controlled cut. The left-hand cut is possible. It's just more risky. When it goes wrong, it goes really wrong. And you end up with a car, woo, I got a little bit T-bone there. When the left-hand cut goes wrong, you can often total your car just in that one accident. So it's extremely risky, and I've noticed that as I take the right-hand cut, it's a little bit better. I just need to slow down more ahead of time, and that one works pretty good. Now, with Monza, you log distance pretty quick because it's just so stinking fast. Like, oh, didn't mean to go off track there. And then, of course, slipstreaming engaged is awesome, so I get to get a nice toe so I can overtake this guy. Got to watch that parabolic braking point, especially after slipstreaming. Now, this does have, if you're comparing this to like a Koenigsegg or something like that, I'd say the braking points are definitely later. It's not as fast, of course, nowhere near as fast. Like, these electric cars, this one at least, not all of them, but some of them just don't have a lot of high speed. So I'm honestly really surprised that this is possible because generally to have an endless endurance race at Monza, you need a car with a really high top speed. So I'm quite surprised at this because this car does not have a high top speed. Now, gotta be careful heading into this. There we go. Woo! Gotta be careful. This car does not handle very nicely off track. It is sketchy, and that's because it is heavy. So it's difficult. You got to be very careful with your off-track handling. Let's see if I can get a slingshot around him. Nice. Get a little ghost push. Even though they slow down really fast, you can still get a little bit of a ghost push, which is always kind of nice to get. And I'm braking pretty late here. Again, a part of the late braking is because the car is just not very fast. it still does feel a bit sluggish, honestly. It's just a sluggish feeling car. To me, all electric cars feel a little bit sluggish. I think the only one that doesn't is the Koenigsegg Regera. Yeah, that's about it. All the rest of them, to me, just kind of feel heavy. And, oh well. So at the end of this race, we'll get into the earnings. And it's an interesting car. You know what I did try? I was going to try to make a video of this. I gave it a few shots, and oh, it's ridiculous. Trying to do races. I've done races in reverse before in electric cars. I was trying to do one in this car, and it just wasn't working so good. It's comical because the aerodynamics should have this car flying in the air in no time, because all the wings, all the aerodynamics are going to be completely wrong. So there's no way it should work. I do like that they've coded it when you're going backwards. You definitely lose cornering ability huge time in these cars, because of course the steering is then in the rear when you're going backwards, and so it's just going to fish around funny. So they've actually done pretty accurate coding, but there's just no way this car could be stuck to the ground. Oh, I was not expecting that. And he slowed down at the exit, just like I said. They're still doing it. That I should be getting near the perpetual point, and he's still driving it like an amateur. I'm just surprised. Usually after the perpetual point, not usually, always after the perpetual point, cars are faster than fully upgraded. But bots still don't corner as good as we can. And I say can because to corner better than a bot at the end of an endurance race, you definitely can't be using assists. So obviously all my assists are off, otherwise this would be impossible. Now that was a disaster. Now, it wasn't a damage-causing disaster, it was a time-wasting disaster. I tried to avoid that car, and then my tires dug in, and I ended up going off. I've talked about this a little bit in other endless endurance race videos, but if you haven't seen one, you don't know. When you're off track, there's a bit of a pulsating effect. So your steering will kind of have random pulse. They're actually timed pulses, and so you got to be careful with your handling. If you happen to be turning right when a pulse hits, it's going to amplify your turning, and your car's just going to feel like it dug into the grass. It's really interesting how they do that. Anyhow, you can kind of, if you hold steady steering when off track is definitely better. If you're doing sharp steering, one of those pulses is going to be a problem. So if I have to do a sharp turn, I try to get it done quick, but you lose a lot of grip off track. You get it back as soon as you're on track, though. Okay, where's that endless point? That huge mistake of mine was very costly, wasn't it? Might be getting down. No, I'll cross the start-finish line before the timer turns red, but not by much. Like, look at this. It's tempting me to take the left-hand cut, but I'm not going to do it. Oh, there we go. See that? Cars are stacking up. Woohoo! Just when I needed him to. And look at how much I gained on that guy, even though he's faster than fully upgraded. You'll see, he'll start to pull away. But it's the corners. That's where I catch them. Now, this is where this gets dicey. Whoa, look how close they are already. I was not expecting that. Oh, better watch out for the kamikaze behind me. Good. Now, can I get an overtake here? I'd really like to. Nice toe. I don't think I'll get that overtake, so let's tuck in and get a nice toe. Slipstream it to the chicane. I should be able to get an inside overtake on this guy. I'm going to have to brake a little bit early and then set up an outside or inside overtake at the exit of the chicane. Can I get around you? No, I'm not going to get around you. Okay, well, I'm going to leave you alone. Get a little more slipstreaming in. Don't think I'll get this guy Parabolica. They do take Parabolica better than we do, usually. Ooh! Oh, no. Okay. See what I mean? They get boosted specs. So that's what I mean by better than fully upgraded, including better grip. In fact, kamikaze bots, holy smokes, can they take corners fast. Terrifyingly fast. It's very interesting. Kamikaze bots. So what that is, when you pass and this is only in endurance races, if you pass a car just when it got on the brakes, it will often let off the brakes and just plow into you. It's weird. But deeper into the braking point, it won't do that. So, I totally missed my braking point. What was that? Okay, well, no damage on the windshield. That's a good thing. Good. And let's just make more mistakes. 47 seconds from the start-finish line. I'm just doing a quick check there. It looks okay. No damage on the body. So let's see how fast I can recover from this. I'm going to try to take this really fast. Oh, lost a little bit of traction there. I'm not too far back. I'm going to be okay. Now you might be asking yourself, why is there music playing the whole time? That's because I don't want to sit here and listen to a vacuum cleaner for 12 minutes. I don't think you do. Electric car sounds are horrible. I have the noise off when I'm making a video. When I'm racing an electric car, I just have the volume off. I can't stand the sound. So I left a tiny bit of race volume for you, but ooh, that timer's getting low. But I decided I'm gonna have some music here because I just non-stop vacuum cleaners, just no thanks. Holy smokes! Look at these vacuum cleaners. Sorry, I'm being funny. They're back to back really close. That means I'm running fast lap times. The game's not expecting me to run this fast. The faster you run, the closer they get. In fact, sometimes, oh boy. Okay, well that was a disaster. Let's do another quick little check here. Oh, there we go, damaged. Yeah, that's gonna affect my performance. We're gonna end this race right away. Okay, what I was starting to say is eventually the bots can get so close together that they start to make mistakes. For instance, in the 2019 Formula One cars at the Silverstone Endless Endurance race, they'll start crashing in Beckett's complex and even at Stowe, which is going to be really funny. It wasn't happening to me in the 2023 car. I'm going to have that video coming up here right away, a link to it if you want to see that one. Way better earnings option than this race. This one, I'll answer the question. I wouldn't do this one personally. We're going to end this right at 50 kilometers, and then I go back and end the race right at that mark. So 50.01. Okay, so fame per minute was just 844, which is not great. Interesting if you want something different, but I get almost double that in a Formula One car. So check out the 2023 video. Please like, please subscribe. Thank you so much for joining me today. And here's some other videos you also might find interesting. Bye-bye now.